morning, everyone. Great to see you all here today. It's 8 a.m. in New York, 2 p.m. in Paris, France. I'm Julie Roginski here with Michelle Kinney, and welcome to the Mayday Morning Show. There is a heated primary happening up in Maine, Michelle, with, oh God, this one's dirty word, Graham Plattner, a veteran. He's a Marine Corps veteran, an oyster farmer, is running against establishment favorite Governor Janet Mills. There's a big dichotomy in age and approach, as there is typically in Democratic primaries. But Plattner made a splash early, leaning into populism, raising a ton of money, while getting support from some high-profile Democrats like Bernie Sanders. Should have done your research, Senator Sanders. But Plattner has faced some controversy in recent days, including revelations that he has a tattoo on his chest, which he says he obtained in 2007. While in the U.S. Marine Corps on shore leave in Croatia. The tattoo resembles the Totenkopf skull and bones. What is wrong with these Nazis everywhere? These skull and bone symbols used by Nazi German Schlussstaffel, the SS. Now Plattner claims he was unaware of the Nazi connotation, not just Nazi, but SS Nazi, at the time of getting the tattoo, and only realized the resemblance when the issue was raised by the media during his campaign. I'm going to just stop here and say that if you don't recognize a Nazi tattoo that you had on your chest, you should probably go back to school.
On your body.
Pointed out to you.
Yeah.
He said he plans to have the tattoo removed or at least have it covered, and strongly asserted he is not a secret Nazi. So here's the part that really gets ugly. His former political director, Genevieve McDonald, resigned over the issue, publicly stating that Plattner had known about the symbolism for years and should have addressed it earlier. And the part, Michelle, that makes me go absolutely crazy, as you know, with my background, amid fallout from Plattner's controversial years-old social media posts, his campaign began sending non-disclosure agreements to staffers last week. Plattner said she declined to sign one. Here's what she said. The campaign offered me $15,000 to sign an NDA, she told Politico. I did not accept the offer. I certainly could have used the money. I quit my job to work on Plattner's campaign, believing it was something different than it is. When are these people going to learn to stop gagging women? What NDA about what? Other stuff that he's got in his background? It's going to come out.
Yes, it always does.
I think more of the approach, the NDA is not because she's got something on him, because she doesn't. The NDA is to prevent her from talking about her experience on the campaign and the way she was treated. And the people who made her sign the campaign, the NDA, or tried to get her to sign the NDA, is this firm. They're not lawyers, from what I can tell. It's the same firm that does Mamdani stuff. It's this, firm that works on progressive.
Yep.
You guys, the people who make women sign NDAs, you are everything you claim to be fighting against. Literally everything you pretend to be, you are not. You are like Donald Trump. You are like Jeffrey Epstein. You make people sign NDAs. That is what they do. They are men who gag women. And I don't want to go off on my moral high horse on this. I can speak about this for 27 hours straight. I could probably do a break Cory Booker's filibuster on the Senate floor talking about NDAs and why they suck. But can we just back up and say, first of all, I think the NDA disqualifies him from running. Second, can we just pause? Like, you have an SS tattoo on your chest. Go away.
Go away.
Yeah.
Go away. And last week there was a scoop about some old Reddit posts of his, and he was like, "Oh, it was so long ago. I was just a child." I'm like, "Just a child? You were like 30." This is yet again where people, are trying to excuse their behavior and say they didn't know better when they absolutely did.
Yeah.
And here's the thing here. It says the campaign offered me $15,000. First of all, $15,000, like that's all.
Well, we want to talk about going down rabbit holes. So I happen to know the NDA laws in every single state in the union.
Yeah.
Because of what I do, my nonprofit life.
Yep.
In Maine, you can sign an NDA, but they're claiming this is not an NDA. They're claiming this is a severance package. Well, whoever did this doesn't know Maine law.
Yeah. Hire better lawyers.
Luckily, Julie Roginski knows Maine law when it comes to NDAs. And I can tell you that you cannot offer somebody a severance with an NDA. You can offer somebody $15,000 as a severance, which is what they're claiming they're doing, and then separately money for an NDA. But the money for the NDA cannot be part of the severance. So their bullshit excuse that this wasn't an NDA, that this was just severance for work done, either you're lying or you're breaking Maine law. Which is it?
Yep. And I'm just going to throw this back up here. Along with previously unearthed offensive Reddit posts, which I was just mentioning, including one from 2013 downplaying sexual assault in the military, and another since deleted 2018 one suggesting violence is necessary to enact social change, Plattner has apologized for the post. Now, he apologized for the posts and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes on Pod Save America and they start defending him. And like, this is where I get really annoyed with the white bro culture within the Democratic Party, especially the ones with podcast mics, trying to tell the rest of us how we should feel about things. And yes, I understand that the Republicans are the the ones that we need to be focused on. But however, is there a line here? Because first of all, Ezra Klein and his podcast, not to go off on a whole thing about this, but Ezra Klein was like, well, maybe women need to think about wanting to elect pro-life Democrats, and they should just kind of get over it, like the fact that they've lost their human rights. And and so now we've got the Pod Save bros telling everybody that we just need to, and I would love to know, because I have not heard from them. We have not heard from them since this, at least I don't think so. Here's is having Nazi tattoos the line? Because I know no one gives a shit about women. So maybe it's the Nazi stuff. Do we care about that? I don't know. And Julie, you and I have talked at length about this NDA situation. And I know today is not the day for me to get into it, but NDAs should be used to protect proprietary information for companies, organizations, etc. They should not be used to cover up behavior from principles of organizations and campaigns. And whether that be harassment, whether that be, gender discrimination, whether that be unlawful or not unethical behavior from the people who are running your organizations. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough, Julie, that these people, and I'm double, tripling, quadrupling down on what you said. All of these people who are out here claiming to be fighting Donald Trump are exactly like him.
Yep.
All of them are exactly like him.
Because that's what he did on his campaign.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, Democrats do this too. My entire life over the last 10 years has been fighting against NDAs because I was subjected to the most egregious NDA on Governor Phil Murphy's campaign when he was governor in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And that NDA prevented me from helping a woman who called me and said I was sexually assaulted by, actually, you guys have seen her, Katie Brennan. Remember, she was the first guest we had on the show? Katie Brennan, for those of you who joined us on our very first show, called me as a very young staffer back then and said, I was sexually assaulted by a senior member of the Murphy campaign. Can you help me? And I said to her, I'm sorry, Katie, I can help you to an extent, but I cannot help you. I couldn't even tell her that I couldn't help her to the extent that I wanted to help her because I was bound by an NDA and Murphy's lawyers kept threatening to sue me if I were to help her. So I just want you guys to understand how pernicious these gag orders are. And I want you to understand that anybody who uses them is just like Donald Trump, who used them extensively on his campaigns and in his organization and in the White House. And I was actually excited about Graham Plattner when he got in. I said, okay, this guy.
Yeah, here comes like a guy who looks like a MAGA and whatever. Yeah.
Here comes a guy. And listen, I don't know if I ever told you this, Michelle. I got my start politically working in Maine. The very first campaign I ever did.
I did not know that.
Was up in Maine. Yes, in 1996. I spent a lot of time living up in Maine. It's very cold there in the winter. I had to plow myself out every single day.
I bet.
I didn't plow myself out, but I had to pay somebody to plow me out.
Yeah.
Which meant that my entire salary went to plow. I'm not kidding.
I know. Trust me.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know where I grew up, so
yeah,
I
exactly. So I know Maine really well politically. And I can tell you that this guy would have been the perfect fit for Maine because there's Maine's got 2 congressional districts. Maine one is Portland, Kennebunk, that whole area. down, kind of down south. And then
Mhm.
as you get to like basically as you get to the state capital a little and keep going north and west, that becomes Maine 2. And Maine 2 is huge. Maine 2, I don't know if it's the biggest, it's a huge congressional district, very similar to the one that you grew up in, Michelle.
Yeah.
And Maine 2's, the way you win Maine 2 is they've got a Democratic congressman there now, but he basically has to vote with the Republicans a lot, right? It's much
Okay.
more conservative,
Right.
much more rural, beautiful up there, but all the way to the Canadian border.
Yeah.
And he's from Maine too. Like he's from that area. He looks the part. I was very excited about him. In fact, I didn't think Janet Mills should get in this race. She's older, like enough. But I will tell you this. Now, after this, stop defending this guy. He has an SS tattoo on his chest. Enough. Of all the tattoos he could have gotten, and if he went to Croatia and got it, I hate to say this,
That kind of makes it work.
Croatia was they were hanging out with the Nazis. Like parts of Yugoslavia, they were very happy to send the Jews to the gas chambers. Let's just say that. And I've been to Croatia. It's beautiful, and I don't begrudge anybody for going there. But when I went to Croatia, Michelle, I did not come back with an SS tattoo. You know what? I don't care how drunk you are. He claimed he was drunk when he got it. I don't care how drunk you are.
Oh,
You do not get an SS tattoo. And by the way, let me just say he was such a blackout drunk that he decided, oh, okay, Scott, I want to get that.
yeah, I'm gonna get that one and not like Chinese symbol for peace or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when you go into the tattoo place and they have all the choices, and also a tattoo of that size, okay, on his chest, because I saw a picture of it. It was like pretty substantial. That takes a while. You're there for a while. And also I mean, I know people get tattoos when they're drunk, but like they tell you not to because of like bleeding and stuff, like because when you drink, like, you know, it thins your blood or whatever. Same if you take aspirin or whatever else, and it's like messy. You shouldn't do that. And you do have to sign a waiver, anyways. But that's beside the point.
Anyway, then you sober up. Like, okay, let's say you made this massive mistake.
Right.
You got an SS tattoo, and then the next morning you wake up and you're like, holy shit!
Right. Oh,
I have an SS tattoo on my chest.
Right.
I think the logical thing would be to go to the tattoo removal parlor and get that taken off your chest.
But in the last 20 years, you didn't have any time to do this?
It didn't occur to you that maybe you shouldn't walk around with an SS tattoo and take pictures of yourself with your SS tattoo? I mean, if I got that size, I hate tattoos, so that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, me
but
neither.
If I got an SS tattoo on my chest that was like the size of my chest, I wouldn't be, first of all, taking pictures showing it off. Second, like, I don't even know what I would do. I would like singe my chest off. What do you even do with that? You do what Johnny Depp did when he got the Winona Forever tattoo. You amend it to say Wino Forever. I don't know what you do with that, but you amend it to like a bouquet of flowers or something.
Or you go to see your dermatologist and you get that shit taken off.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like that, you know what I'm saying? And like, again, back to the NDA thing. I am so tired of this shit. I am tired of shitty men and the women who enable them asking people to sign things like this in order to cover up their shitty, immoral, and unethical behavior. I am tired of it. I have been through my own situation with this because apparently the people that I worked for released people from their NDAs, or so they say. If they were even NDAs, it's really ambiguous and vague. No one knows. But it doesn't mean that they still won't threaten you. It's still, I mean, and again, today is not the day for me to get into this, but I will say, if you're a smart person, which I think I am, you know, we don't accuse people of things that we don't have in writing, and we don't accuse things of people that we don't even have like a recording or something of that nature. That being said, again, if you are behaving like Donald Trump, in any way, shape, or form, and you're out here asking people for money to fight Donald Trump and putting on this face that you are the good guy, shame on you. How dare you? How dare you?
You know what, Graham Plattner, just drop out. Just drop out.
Yeah,
It's
and he
over.
won't. He's not going to. He
I
won't.
know, but I'm just saying, like, you raised a ton of money, you got support from a ton of prominent people. Stop embarrassing your donors. Stop embarrassing the person that endorsed. Stop embarrassing Bernie Sanders. I'm sure he was not aware of the tattoo. I'm sure he probably was aware of the
Listen,
NDAs.
but this
Bernie
is where,
Sanders. Bernie Sanders has used NDAs on his campaigns.
Mhm.
So just stop. And Pod Save America bros and all these other bros that are defending this shit. No, no, no. If Jenna Mills is not your cup of tea, if you're concerned that she's more of the
Find
same, she's
somebody else, whatever. Like,
find somebody else.
fine.
You know what? Find somebody else.
Mhm.
Maine is a wonderful state with plenty of qualified people. Off the top of my head, I could think of 5 people I know in Maine who would make great senators.
Mhm.
If Janet Mills is not your cup of tea.
Mhm. Mhm.
Where's Shelley Pingree? Like, go find people. But it doesn't need to be a guy who subjects staff to NDAs to gag them. And it doesn't need to be a guy who has SS tattoos on his chest, because you know, as well as we know, that that is all Susan Collins will be talking about when he runs against her.
As she should.
As
As
she
she
should.
should.
As she should.
Especially as a moderate Republican from Maine. Like, she's not, yes, she we don't like her and we're mad at her for all the reasons, okay? But she's not a crazy person. And she has a history of being a quote unquote moderate who votes, every so often in the way of the Democrats in order to do the right thing, which again, that's a whole nother, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, that's her facade, right? To the people who vote for her.
Yeah.
That she's not a crazy person. Even though, whatever. So, but the thing is here is that is all she'll be talking about, especially with what's going on, with anti-Semitism in this country, and how anti-Semitism does not just come from the right, it comes from the left as well. It just does. And that's the thing about anti-Semitism. It seems to kind of touch everywhere, and people don't want to talk about it, but this is some ugly, ugly, ugly shit. This is ugly.
Yeah, and pro tip, Graham Plattner, the phrase "I'm not a secret Nazi" said is going to be the banner for everybody running against you.
Yeah.
Like if you have to come out there and say I'm not a secret Nazi, you've lost. Like, you've lost. And by the way, even if by some miracle of God you get into the Senate, you still have a Nazi tattoo on your chest.
Yeah. And we cannot go after Pete Hegseth, and we cannot go after all these other people who have questionable white nationalist ties or tattoos or whatever it is, right? I mean, again, where's the line for decency? Where is the line for what our standards are? How low is that bar because they have white skin and they're a man that they get away with 10 times more than everybody else? Give me a break.
Yeah.
Give me a break. And he went on Pod Save America to like get ahead of this story, which is even crazier.
And those guys were like, okay.
Yeah.
Because what do you think? This is the next Barack Obama pod, guys? Like, do you think this is the next coming of Barack Obama because you guys got ahead of Hillary Clinton back in the day? You decided, I mean, come on.
Listen, I don't think they're bad people. They're very smart guys. However, they did ride the coattails of a once in a generation politician in this country. And like, good for you, good for all of that. But the time has passed. It's been almost 10 years now. And it's, I just feel like they have become more and more insufferable. And I'm just not a fan. And I used to be a mega fan of theirs. I listened to them when they were over at the Ringer, when it was keeping it 1600, when they started Pod Save America. Like, I wore the Friend of the Pod t-shirt. I loved them. And in the last few years, they have completely lost me.
Well, I got to tell you, I guess this is why we're doing Mayday, because I can't deal with this bro culture anymore.
I'm done. I can't do it anymore either, Julie.
I'm done.
Same.
So, and again, this is not a endorsement of Janet Mills. I understand the concerns. It's when I saw that Graham Plattner was making people sign NDAs, I was done. Like, drop out. Goodbye.
Rough.
Take your tattoo and say goodbye. All right, we got to move on. But
yep,
come on, this is just
drop out, bro. Drop
out.
Well, Julie, Donald Trump's pardon of Binance founder, what's his name? Changpeng Zhao? Am I saying that correct? CZ Zhao
Thanks,
raises
Al.
CZ Zhao raises glaring conflict of interest questions because it intersects directly, once again, with Trump's the Trump crime family's own cryptocurrency ventures. Binance, whose founders pleaded guilty in 2023 to major anti-money laundering violations and paid $4.3 billion fine, has reportedly done business with Trump-linked enterprises, including talks with the family's crypto platform, World Liberty Financial, and the handling of a $2 billion transaction involving its stablecoin. This is all kind of Greek to me still. I don't really understand crypto, but all of this is very bad. And so by granting clemency to a figure whose company has financially benefited Trump family ventures, the president effectively used a pardon power in a way that blurs the line between public duty and private enrichment. So is Trump once again advancing the interest of his own business partners under the guise of executive mercy? Of course he is. And this is not the first time he's done it. He has done this many times. If you Google, there is a list of people that, all the assholes that work for him come into his office and say, here's a list of people you need to pardon because this, and this. People who owe millions, if not billions of dollars to the American government, to the American taxpayer. They owe us money for the crimes that they've committed. And he has essentially erased all of this crime with the power of the pen. It's a pardon pen.
George Santos comes to mind, who no longer has to pay restitution to his victims.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And so here's Donald Trump was actually asked about this. I believe this was yesterday, if not the day before. And this is what he had to say.
Pardoned the founder of Binance. Can you explain why you chose to pardon him? And did it have anything to do with his involvement in your family's?
Which one? Who is that?
The founder of Binance. He has an involvement in your own family's crypto business.
Yes, I believe we're talking about the same person because I do pardon a lot of people. I don't know. He was recommended by a lot of people. A lot of people say that. Are you talking about the crypto person? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 months in jail, and they say that he was not guilty of anything. That what he did. Well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing, you fake news. But let me just tell you that he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I've been told by a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And they said that what he did is not even a crime. It wasn't a crime, that he was persecuted by the Biden administration. And so I gave him a pardon at the request of a lot of very good people.
Which very good people? The ones in the Trump family with whom this guy has done business? Like,
Julie has no clue who he is, first of all.
Well,
when he was asked about it, he was like, who?
I don't know if that's true. I think he maybe pretend. I think he knows exactly who he means.
I think sometimes he does this, but I do think there was a bit about him that he was confused. He's like, who? What? Have I met him? Because I do think that there is a list of people that they come in and he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know what I mean?
You know what I think this is all about? I think that he is pardoning a lot of people and a lot of people are outraged about Santos, and a lot of people are outraged about this guy, and a lot of people are
Diddy and all this. Yeah.
Yes. And I think he is using this to get people acclimated to, this is flooding the zone with pardons, to get people acclimated to what is coming. This is about, well, first of all, he's pardoning a guy whose family makes a lot of money off of and probably will continue to make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is part of a plot to acclimate all of us to outrageous pardons so that when the most outrageous pardon of all comes, and we all know who that is, she's sitting in a plush camp-fed prison down south right now. When he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell, everybody will be too exhausted to even make a big ruckus about it.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, Julie, I think that who's to say he won't be pardoning Charles Manson next? Like, I honestly, I'm not even joking. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Sirhan. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Manson's dead, but probably Sirhan, because
I know, but a posthumous, like,
yeah.
I mean, I could just be being like, well, people saying that he didn't really do anything, and I'm going to sign the thing, and the Charles Manson, and all the ladies loved him, and it's fine. I mean, this is just,
listen, I hate this part of the Constitution. I hate it.
I know. It's
I,
just it's very
I,
it's very kingy.
I hate it because it's very kingy. We have a no king situation in this country for a reason.
Yeah.
It's very royal. You have the royal pardon power. But again, who do I blame? Who's the guy to blame? John Roberts, because he knows full well that Trump has pardon power. And when you allow the man with pardon power to do things that are blatantly illegal, like enrich himself, and then use that pardon power to enrich himself,
Mm-hmm.
you allowed him to do whatever you want. And by the way, under any other circumstance, this would be impeachable. I mean, this is an impeachable act. You are using an official act to put money in your pocket.
But if it is an official act, it's
you're
not
allowed.
illegal.
It's not illegal.
Mhm.
And the Supreme Court knows it. They know that even if Democrats got control of Congress, they'll never have enough to convict Trump in the Senate to kick him out. I mean, if after January 6th it didn't happen, then it's never going to happen.
No, it's listen, oftentimes, especially in the last 15 years, there have been things that have been so horrific that have happened, whether it be January 6th or Sandy Hook, or I mean, the list goes on. If there is not change or if there is not accountability when these horrific, horrible, unimaginable things happen, it then just creates a green light for horrible things to continue happening for the rest of time. And I think January, not doing anything after January 6th was the line in the sand. And I don't think we ever come back from that because we never held these people accountable. And I don't think we ever will.
And ultimately, what's going to happen, and I wrote a whole Substack about this, but he's a groomer, you guys. He grooms the same way sexual predators groom young girls, which is why he probably had so much in common with somebody like a Jeffrey Epstein, is the way he's grooming the American people.
Mhm.
Love bombs them, takes
Mhm.
it away. Love bombs, takes it away.
Mhm.
Nothing is real except what comes out of my mouth. Everything is fake news. You are fake news. You don't know what you're talking about, which, as he said to that reporter, all of it is fake news. And ultimately, what's going to end up happening is that you will have a population, because now he's taking over the media, or his allies are, right? Now CBS is gone, CNN's on the chopping block, HBO's on the chopping block, Comedy Central's on the chopping block. All the people that used to tell you the truth. Fox is already, MSNBC is spinning off from
Mhm.
NBC, and we'll see what happens to NBC, because there's spun off MSNBC. They would not have done that if Trump had not won.
Mhm.
Now there's news last night that broke from Oliver Darcy over at Status, who's an amazing media reporter, the best there is.
Yeah, we should
That,
talk.
yeah, we should talk to Oliver, except I don't think he's allowed to do this kind of stuff because he's got
Oh.
to deal with somebody else. But I asked. But Oliver is fantastic. But Oliver broke a story that Barry Weiss, who is now in charge of CBS News, wants to hire
Who doesn't own
Brett,
a
potentially has no TV experience, potentially is exploring hiring away Brett Baer from Fox News to be the CBS evening news anchor. So, you know, I just want to be clear here as to what's happening. Brett Baer is not going to go anywhere because he's got a contract through 2020 with the Murdochs, but it doesn't matter. This is the kind of people that they're looking at to bring you the news. And when you read the news on the CBS Evening News or the ABC News or World News Tonight or anything, it's not that you're just staring into a teleprompter and you're reading it. You choose. You have a big say as to what stories to cover and which stories not to cover. And that is the genius of places like Fox News, where they cover the stories that they want to cover and ignore everything else. And that's about to happen to the rest of our media, which means that people who get their news from what they consider to be trusted sources are about to get very different kind of news.
Yep. The radio waves and the TV waves that used to bring us nightly news from Walter Cronkite and, all the people that we trusted, our parents trusted, this just doesn't exist anymore. And again, like Barry Weiss is so insanely unqualified to have this job, and she does not own a television. I don't know how you work in news, in television news, and do not own a television. Not to mention, she's she's going about all of this. I mean, when she sent out the thing to all the CBS employees, like, I understand everyone's stressed, whatever, but here's the rules. And one of them was, we're going to cover both sides equally. And this is the earth is flat, the earth is round. And
Yeah.
no,
No,
we're not
there are
doing it.
no, there are no both sides. This is, oh God, I hate this. I mean, honestly, Michelle, this is why we're doing this.
I know.
Never, ever, 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 ever is anybody going to come on this network and tell us that the earth is flat. I will debate like policy with you all day long. I did it
Mhm.
for a decade at Fox. Like, I'm not scared of debating facts. I'm
Mhm.
not going to debate your opinion about where the sun rises. It rises in the east, and that's all there is to it.
Yep.
And legacy media with the both sides bullshit is gone. And I will tell you that you already saw the change at CBS. We talked about this yesterday, but it bears repeating again. I watched that Leslie Stahl interview on 60 Minutes with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, and I
Oh my
could not
gosh.
believe my eyes.
Yep.
I could not believe my eyes because that
Sickening.
was filmed before the ceasefire broke, but it was shown after the ceasefire broke. And the whole
Mhm.
thing about the ceasefire in Israel and Palestine and Gaza, and all about how they created this massive peace, and oh my God, peace in our time, and like
Yeah, Reese's Pieces.
I
Yeah.
mean, he was just groveling to them. And Wickoff was going off about how he had this great conversation with the leader of Hamas and how they both found common cause around the fact that both of their sons died, tragically. And Jared was kind of, sitting there barely saying anything, but Steve Wickoff, of course,
Yeah.
because
He's like, I'm a real boy, right?
because Kushner is a member of the Trump family. Wickoff
Right.
is like heaping praise on Jared and Jared's relationships, and Jared has been in this Middle East his whole
God.
life.
The most mediocre human being
I mean,
on planet
most
Earth.
mediocre guy. I've known the Kushner family a really long time. We're both from New Jersey, and his dad, before they became Trumpers, was a massive Democratic donor, the biggest Democratic donor in Jersey politics. I have been around that family since Jared was knee high.
Mm.
And that guy has had everything paid for him, including entrance into Harvard, where his dad gave $2 million so that his real boy could get into Harvard. And then gave him the firm when Jared's dad went to prison. Jared took over running Kushner companies, almost ran it into the ground, and had Qatar not bailed him out on 666 Fifth Avenue, he would have been broke beyond broke.
Yep. And
now he's repaying the favor.
yep.
And Leslie Stahl was sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely just allowing them to say whatever they want and talking about this great ceasefire. Even as it was airing, there was fighting and death happening in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
So it's over. It is over, my friends. It is over. I hate to say this because I love, 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 love these media entities. I worked for half of them.
I know.
I still appear. I'm about to do MSNBC today. They don't cancel me, right? I did CNN earlier this week or whatever it was. Like it's over for them.
I think we all just need to have a collective funeral for the media landscape that we once knew.
Oh, we should do. You should create a video on that, Michelle.
Ooh, that might be good.
Ooh, that would be good. A collective funeral video. All right, maybe
R.I.P. R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Something to think about. Something to think about. Well,
all right. Well,
yeah. Moving on. Barry Weiss, Spy TV.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
So this one is from the FO files. Donald Trump's plan to import more beef from Argentina has riled up some of his more enthusiastic supporters. Trump recently said that the U.S. could boost its purchases of Argentinian beef as a way to reduce record high price averages. Ground beef soared to $6.25 per pound. And the USDA choice sirloin steak is up to $13.55 in July and remains very expensive across the country. I know I'm seeing it in New York. Julie, we've talked about this. It's obscene. Not a big beef eater, but once in a while, the sticker shock is really something. So even some of his most high profile supporters are pissed off. Why the actual F would we buy Argentinian beef? Our American ranchers are getting crushed already by cheap shit foreign beef imports. And you know who said that was Fox News host Tomi Lahren, who is usually
Wackadoodle.
wackadoodle, insufferable Trump supporter. And she, once in a while, will say something true. And this was one of them. She wrote this on Tuesday on Twitter. And then she continued on, the meat packers are already undercutting our American producers as it is. This is an all caps outrage. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association and the Ranchers Cattlemen Action Legal Fund, United Stock Growers of America, who are typically big MAGA supporters, have also warned that Trump's plan could harm American ranchers and feedlot operators. Meriwether Farms, a beef producer in Wyoming, posted a lengthy message to Trump Monday on Twitter. Quote, "Dear POTUS, Trump, we love you and support you, but your suggestion to buy beef from Argentina to stabilize beef prices would be an absolute betrayal to the American cattle rancher. There are so many voices on the outside that support you and want to see you succeed. Maybe it's time to start listening to them. Your team knows how to get in touch with us." End quote.
Call me. Call me.
Have your people call my people.
Yeah.
Trump, of course, fired back that he actually has to burn down American cattle ranching in order to save it. Quote, "The cattle ranchers, who I love, don't understand that the only reason they are doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming into the United States, including a 50% tariff on Brazil," Trump wrote on Truth Social. Quote, "If it weren't for me, they would be doing just as they've done for the past 20 years. Terrible. It would be nice if they would understand that. But they also have to get their prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also." This is like Trump shooting his own supporters on Fifth Avenue, isn't it? And he kind of predicted they would stick with him even if he did that a decade ago. And here we are in 2025, and he's writing this.
Well, Michelle, I would just say this. He is screwing his own base, as we knew he would. He did it in the first term. They should have learned their lesson back then. They didn't. They came back for more because apparently their own pocketbooks and their own farms and their own ranches are less important to them than about which bathroom some teenager uses.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, FAO, you fucked around, you found out. I mean, listen, and what's going to happen is they expect all of us to have sympathy for them. And I think I might have in the first term.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't have any sympathy for them.
Yeah. Fool me once, fool me twice, right?
I just don't have any sympathy for them because this guy is making sure that every time I go and buy steak, we talked about this before, it's through the roof. That's through crazy. The roof. And now he's importing. I mean, by the way, he's going to start importing soybeans from Argentina very soon. You understand that, right? Because our farmers were tons and tons and tons of soybeans.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth
is,
you know, it's like,
and he's bailing out Argentina to the tune of $40 billion. He's not bailing out these ranchers. Now, what he's going to do next is he's going to bail them out. He's going to bail out the soy farmers. He's going to bail out the cattle ranchers. He's going to give them a one-time payment to shut them up.
Well, that's the thing. It's going to be a one-time payment. That does not fix the problem long term. I mean, this is just going to be a Band-Aid. And the thing is that the ranchers know this. They know this because they are always projecting and planning because, listen, farmers are business people. They're smart. They're not dumbasses like Donald Trump tries to make them out to be. They know what they're doing and they know the industry. A lot of them come from family farms. They've been doing this for a century probably with their families and know a hell of a lot more than the rest of us about this. And so this is just like some real, you know, top-notch gaslighting from the Trump administration. Caroline Levitt was asked about this, and here this is what she had to say.
Ranchers who supported the president's election have raised some concerns about plans to import beef from Argentina. How will the Trump administration support those farmers?
Look, the president hears those concerns. He addressed them yesterday himself. President loves our ranchers, and our ranchers love our president. And in fact, the president did a lot for them in his first term here. They are struggling because of the many horrible policies of the previous administration. The president loves our ranchers, and he also loves American consumers, and he wants to do right by both.
Yeah. And so here is the Secretary of Agriculture also talking about this.
But secondly, no one has been more outspoken or I believe more supportive of our farmers and our ranchers than this president has, perhaps in our lifetimes, perhaps since Abraham Lincoln founded the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Nobody since Abraham Lincoln, Julie. Did you know that? Because I didn't.
I mean, look, here's the reality. You can gaslight people all you want,
Right.
and some of them will be gaslit. But if you're a rancher, you
Mhm,
know
that's-
one of two things.
Exactly.
Either somebody's buying your cow or they're not buying your cow.
Mhm.
And if they're not buying your cow, you're going to go broke. Like it's a very simple thing, right? Either I go to the store and I pay double what I would pay for burger or steak
Mhm.
or anything meat related, or I don't, right? Like the part that I don't get is where's all the conversation about, like, all we heard about last year was the price of eggs. By the way, still up year over year over what it was.
Yeah.
But where's the price of steak? Where's the price of steak? Because now they're trying to gaslight people into saying, oh, Hamburger Helper is back.
Oh,
So,
I
yeah.
have a great here. I have a clip.
And last
Good.
but not least, one trend and True Brand is making a big comeback as consumers tighten their wallets. And here it is, Hamburger Helper. The mix of mac and cheese and ground beef is seeing a surge in sales.
Oh, Kaylee.
Ooh.
Well, let me just say this. Hamburger Helper and a mix of ground beef. That ground beef has to come from somewhere. Is it coming from Argentina?
Yeah.
Is it coming from the cattle ranchers out west here in this country? Why is my meat that I'm supposed to be mixing with Hamburger Helper to make me feel better cost more? I mean, the Hamburger Helper part of this doesn't help because the hamburger is what's expensive.
Yeah, hamburger's not helping actually
Yeah.
at all. And it's, you know, and the thing that's just ironic with the gaslighting and all of this too is, like, you know, there's this other layer of you know, the ranching that is extremely bad for the environment, right? I mean, and this isn't just, I mean, this is a huge part of climate change, right? And so, you know, this has been something that people have been talking about and alternatives to beef, right? For ways to even, you know, save money now. I think about that because now they have nothing to say about it. They're telling you, no, it's all fine. Spend more money, spend more money. They're not offering alternatives to beef or anything like that, that A, would be better for the planet and be cheaper. They're just saying, you know, no, it's fine. Spend the money. Oh, and the ranchers, you're fine too. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
And the part
guys.
where he's like, I put a 50% tariff for Brazil. Okay, but you're not putting a 50% tariff on. By the way, my friends, if you've ever been to Argentina,
Mhm.
I will just say this: you will never have better meat in your life. Like
Oh,
it
really?
is. Oh my god, it's like eating steak. You know how if you ever fly, have you ever flown private?
No.
Okay, I flew private a few times. I never paid for it, but when I was a Fox, I flew private a few times. Let me just say this: it's better not to, because now as you sit in economy class for the rest of your life with your head banging.
Yeah, it's like
toilet.
it's like doing the lay down bed in Delta One. You do
Yeah,
it one time and it's like, oh god, the rest of
yeah,
my
and
life terrible.
Yeah, it ruins your entire experience
Yeah,
flying ever because you now know what you're missing. Like it's better
Right.
to not know.
yeah,
That's kind of how I feel about steak after going to Argentina.
Mm.
Like it's just not the same. It's like going
Yeah.
from like a rotary phone to like an iPhone. Like it's
yeah.
so
it's like, I need to
good.
go back.
It's so good that it's actually worth going to Argentina, which is super cheap, by the way. You could get like I think the most I paid at like a 4-star restaurant with steak and Malbec, which is, you know, that comes from
Yeah,
Argentina,
yeah.
I think it was like $40. And that was
Dang.
like at their fanciest restaurant. Like
Wow.
it is dirt cheap to go there. Anyway, the point is not that. I can go on about Argentinians.
Well, here's another clip I just want to play. This is a Nebraska rancher being interviewed by a cable news that I can't actually see because it's too tiny, but we'll see it here.
Well, I don't think it's a good idea. I think probably what you've heard a lot today is we should just allow our markets to dictate the price of beef, and there's a lot of factors in that. I think most people out here have the view that the government should just be pretty limited and not kind of meddle in the free markets.
I'm going to read Now, some of those cattle farmers who overwhelmingly did support the president in last year's election are making clear that they do not agree with his plan.
Consumers will tell us when the beef is too high. I think it's outlandish for the president to come out and say the beef is too high and he's going to get it down himself. What is his problem with higher priced beef? Because consumers have a choice in proteins. There's chicken, there's pork, there's all different proteins. Consumers have chose to buy beef. President Trump ran on being a free market guy. So what he was saying last week goes totally against what he ran on.
Well, yeah.
Yes, he did. I mean, listen, the point that I was making about Argentinian beef is he's not putting a tariff on that. He's having them flood the zone here with, and by the way, like, I appreciate the sentiment of trying to get prices down, but you're screwing your own base here.
And he doesn't care.
And he doesn't care because he knows when he shoots somebody on Fifth Avenue, as you said, Michelle, they'll be here for him. So on that note,
I will be having veggie burgers for the foreseeable future.
You guys, well, former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon insists that Donald Trump will run in 2028 and he will win. During an interview with The Economist, which was released yesterday, Bannon claimed that Trump is, quote, going to get a third term. So Trump 2028, said Bannon. Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that. Now, from a constitutional perspective, Bannon's full of shit, Michelle, and he is saying this to flood the zone with more of a shit because his name recently popped up in Jeffrey Epstein-related documents where it showed that he and Epstein used to socialize back in the day. So, of course, he goes out and does this to change the subject quickly. He needed something to change it with, and this was it. But it does raise the question, you and I both know that Trump is never leaving.
No, he's not. And this is the other problem too, where it's like, you know, I understand that everything is a distraction. No, they're trying to distract us from the Epstein files. Like, yes, they are, but also this is important. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, two things can be true, and it is a distraction, but this is also something that they have been beating the drum about forever, and they have been talking about it. And when they tell us what they intend to do, we have to believe them. They are not bluffing. They are not making this up. They're not particularly funny. So this is not a joke. So I'm going to play this clip here. This is Bannon talking about this. This is not the first time he has ever said this, but certainly the most recent.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president in 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is, but there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump, Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will. And you can tell this of how he's pulled this off. We need him for at least one more term, right? And he'll get that in 28.
You're not
Steve Bannon is not stupid. Okay, no. Steve Bannon is incredibly smart. No one should ever underestimate him. He looks like Sasquatch with too many shirts and like 5 pens pinned to his lapel. I mean, he's a ridiculous person. He looks like a human herpy, but he does. He's disgusting. However, he has a lot of power, a lot of influence. Talking about people who've been pardoned, he is one of them. He's another one that Donald Trump plucked from criminality and wiped his slate clean. So he is out here paying it back, paying it forward. And, you know, he talks about the 22nd Amendment, and Amy Coney Barrett, and we've talked about this too. She talked to Brett Baier on Fox about a month ago when she was on her book tour, and she was asked about the 22nd Amendment, and this is what she had to say. And this is why I do not feel confident that the Constitution is on our side.
The genius of our Constitution, and I talk about this in the book when I describe originalism and describe our written Constitution, is that it's written at varying levels of generality. So sometimes it's very specific. The president has to be at least 35 years old. But sometimes it's very general. We're protected from unreasonable searches and seizures. We have freedom of speech. And to have freedom of speech doesn't mean that you have freedom only to pass out pamphlets in a town square. I mean, it means that you have freedom to be on broadcast news.
Right, and the 22nd Amendment says you can only run for office for 2 terms.
True.
You think that that's cut and dry?
Well, that's what the amendment says, right? After FDR had 4 terms, that's what that amendment says.
Not asking.
Does not invoke confidence with me. That's what it says.
I mean, look, whether the Supreme Court sides with him or not doesn't really matter, because the things with the court and him are going to come to a head either prior to that or on that ruling.
If he's still alive.
But if he's still alive. But let's say that the Supreme Court says, no, Mr. President, it's very clear you cannot run for more than 2 terms. He won't care. He will not care. He will not respect the court. He does not care.
No. And yeah, sorry.
If that's the case, he will run. And he'll probably lose, because I don't think the American people will make this mistake twice, except for the fact that he's doing everything he can to prevent people from voting. He's doing everything he can, because it's always a projection with them, to rig any future elections for himself. And even if he loses, he will say that he won, and he will refuse to leave. And unlike the first term, nobody will be there to get him out of the White House. He will not go.
And his son was on TV making an argument. My dad's not a king. He's not a king. Otherwise, he left, though. Just watch this really quick.
Someone, by the way, who, if he was a king, probably would just reopen the government, but it hasn't worked that way. If he was a king, he probably would have never left the office the first time. If he was a king, he wouldn't allow his government to prosecute and persecute him.
God, he's such a ridiculous. If he was a king,
I mean, he didn't leave, Junior. If
Yeah.
you recall, he didn't want to leave. In fact, what he did was sick a mob on the Capitol to prevent them from making him leave. So, I think January 6th was a trial run. I think he will never, ever go. I think the violence potentially has the ability to get 20 times worse.
Oh, yeah.
And I think this country is absolutely screwed, because what they're saying 3.5 years in advance. They don't care about the law. I mean, listen, the reason the Supreme Court has given him everything he wants is because they don't want a reckoning. Because once they have the reckoning, he will make it very clear that John Roberts does not have an army, and he does. And so go ahead, John Roberts, try to enforce the law. With what army are you going? Whereas here, and this is tragic, even if they rule and say the 22nd Amendment was very clear, Mr. President, very, very, very clear, which it is, much like the citizenship component is clear in the Constitution, all of it's clear. It doesn't matter. He's going.
They can't enforce it. I mean, they can't.
Yeah.
They can't. And here's the other thing too. And we had drinks the other night with a couple of our friends, and after you guys left, Matt and I were talking about this, and how California is talking about arresting ICE or whatever it was in California for not obeying the law, and how that's a they're under state laws, they're gonna, because Donald Trump wouldn't be able to pardon them, and Tara and I were talking about this last night on the Stakes too over at Seneca Project, and she's like, I know that it's going to come to a head, but this is really scary. I don't want this to happen. And I was like, well, this is what Matt and I were talking about, is there is going to come a point. This is inevitable.
Yeah.
That the guns are going to be pointed at each other from different places, and, municipalities, state government, and federal. This is going to happen eventually. I don't want it to happen. I'm not wishing it to happen, but this is inevitable. And it's a very, very dangerous and dark place that we are headed as a country. And I honestly, I hope, violence doesn't come to our streets and our shores, but it certainly feels like I don't know any way around this. I mean, it's awful. It's awful what he has done to this country and the people around him who have enabled it.
And I will just say this, the Constitution, which we've all relied on for 249 years, is only strong as the people willing to enforce it.
Right. It's a gentleman's agreement.
It's a gentleman. It took somebody 6 months
Mm-hmm.
to abrogate it.
Yep.
On that note, Michelle.
On that note, we're almost done. We're almost done. TGIF, Julie.
Yep.
TGIF.
Well, did you guys know that back on September 11th of this year, a protester was arrested for playing the Darth Vader Imperial March theme while walking several feet behind National Guard troops in Washington, D.C.? Now, Sam O'Hara, the protester, is suing. Yesterday, he filed a federal lawsuit claiming that an Ohio Guard, National Guardman, allegedly threatened to call the police to quote unquote handle O'Hara if he quote unquote persisted in peacefully protesting by playing the Star Wars music through a phone and a small speaker as troops patrolled the Logan Circle neighborhood. By the way, I don't know what they're doing patrolling Logan Circle. That is a very fancy neighborhood in Washington.
It's a very nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, why would it's like
I don't know.
like Murray Hill or something.
Because they're trying to scare the hell out of Democrats, not anybody else.
Yeah.
4 Metropolitan Police Department officers arrived several minutes later, handcuffed and detained O'Hara and prevented him from, quote, continuing his peaceful protest, his lawsuit alleges. I spent years listening to people at Fox talk about how Democrats are snowflakes. That was their favorite word. Are these the most thin-skinned people on earth who can't even take some John Williams music being played in their vicinity? I mean, you're literally
iconic score. Like, I would love for someone to follow me around playing the film score of John Williams behind me. And also, like, I mean, it's obviously very triggering to them because here's the other thing. Generationally, these people who are serving in these capacities, right, probably grew up watching Star Wars and understand that the Darth Vader theme means bad guy, and Stormtrooper means bad guy, and that they're being followed now, being told they're the bad guy, and they don't want to be told that because in their minds, and this was the Nazi excuse, right? I was just doing my job. I'm just doing what I'm told to do. But as we know, in Nuremberg and in history shows us that is not an excuse. And there will come a time, there will come a day when they all are held accountable for what they are participating in now. And I think that in the short term, when you have someone, again, using satire, using comedy, using laughter in order to expose the truth and shine a light on these people, they cannot handle it. They can't take it, especially like that.
Totally humorless. Totally humorless.
Can't take a joke, any of these people.
Totally humorless, completely unwilling to have any differences of opinion. I mean, you're calling the cops to arrest a guy for walking behind you playing some John Williams music? Like
babies.
Like, what is wrong with you? He has the right to exercise his First Amendment rights. At best, he could have gotten a ticket
for like noise ordinance or something.
Like a noise ordinance or something. You don't arrest somebody, handcuff them.
No. And the thing would have been for them to do, I think, if he had turned around and he had chuckled and laughed and like, kind of made a face like, come on. I think that would have gone a lot further for him. And because I know who this guy is, I've watched him. He posts the videos online, like on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. I've seen him because he has the phone and he swings the.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know he was
so funny.
TikTok guy.
And
Okay.
I've seen the video where the guy turns around and he's like, "You need to leave us. I'm going to call the cops and have you handled." I've seen the clip, and I'm like, "Get over yourself. Stop it. This is ridiculous."
Have you handled? And I'm sorry, where is this guy from? Ohio? Is that where the National Guard came in from?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was an Ohio National Guardsman.
Yeah.
Man, you drove all the way from Ohio to Washington, D.C. to intimidate not a bunch of Latinos or Black people or whoever you think was burning down D.C.
A bunch of Logan Circle liberals.
A bunch of Logan Circle liberals who work at the State Department or on Capitol Hill. Give me a break. Give me a break, tough guy. You're patrolling one of the fanciest neighborhoods in Washington, D.C. Like, we know D.C.
A lot of young people, like, yeah.
Like, you are a joke. Go back to Cincinnati, focus on your family, focus on your real job, and stop with this nonsense. I mean, come on. Come on. And for them to sit there and call the rest of us snowflakes, and that we don't have a sense of humor, and there were these humorous, scolds who are afraid of like being offended. That's you. That is you. And by the way, I don't know what the hell the Metropolitan Police Department was doing in DC, but shame on you too.
Yep.
Because you don't have to cooperate with that shit.
That's right.
In fact, I believe you were told not to cooperate with that shit.
That's right. That's right. Well, Julie,
It is Friday, my friends.
It is Friday. And the last thing, and we will play this out to leave you. Tonight is the World Series, and we are very, very excited about it.
Go Dodgers.
Yes, Dodgers and also the Toronto Blue Jays. These are two teams that will not be welcomed by Donald Trump, and they're two cities that will not welcome him in any sort of friendly way into their stadiums. And so for that reason, and the reason that the Toronto Blue Jays came from very last to the top, and that the Los Angeles Dodgers have Shohei Ohtani, who is arguably the best player to ever play the game. It's going to be very exciting. It all starts tonight. And a few days ago, I put together this segment, this video about Shohei Ohtani and the importance of immigrants making the American pastime of baseball so much better. And it's actually for our little channel here at the Mayday Network, has over like 20,000 views. And I'm thrilled over that. So if you have not seen it, we want to show it to you again in celebration of the series starting tonight. So we're going to play you out with that. Otherwise, we will see you back here at 8 o'clock Eastern in the morning on Monday. And we'll be back tomorrow for Copy and Conversation at 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on the Mayday Network. Julie, anything else?
Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the World Series, and we will see you all tomorrow morning.
We will. Take
Bye.
care, everyone.
Bye.
There have been perfect games.
Robinson dashes to the plate.
Sandy Koufax, his second consecutive.
There have been no hitters, walk-offs, and miracle ninth innings. Baseball has always given us nights that felt touched by something greater than the game itself. But then, on Friday night, under the lights of Dodger Stadium, one immigrant gave us the kind of performance we'll tell our kids about. They're calling it the greatest game ever played. 3 home runs.
And there goes Ohtani. Shohei. Ohtani did he? Ohtani! Ohtani has done it again! His 3rd home run! This was about as impressive as it gets. The bat flip.
6 shutout innings.
The LCS. 5 innings. 1 and 2 on Teray.
One man doing what used to take an entire team. But maybe it was something more. Maybe it was a reminder of what baseball and this country are supposed to be about.
They get 6 more outs.
Baseball has always been America's pastime, but it's the people who come to America who bring their talent, their dreams, their discipline, and hard work, who make it something greater. Shohei Ohtani came here with a dream and a fastball. He crossed an ocean to play the game he loved. He reminded us why we watch, why we dream, and why this game endures. Baseball was born here, but it's been kept alive and made greater by those who crossed oceans and borders, proving again that greatness isn't born in just one place, that the American dream doesn't have a birth certificate. It has a heartbeat. And on Friday night, it sounded like this.
Ohtani did he? Ohtani! Ohtani has done
The sound
it again! His 3rd home run!
connects us all. From fields in Cuba, Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, Japan, Puerto Rico, to the sandlots of the Bronx and the cornfields of Iowa. In a country built on possibilities, sometimes it takes someone who came from somewhere else to remind us what it all really means.
There goes Ohtani, lighting up the highlights already.
Baseball may be America's pastime, but baseball has been made greater.
Pitcher and a hitter.
By those who choose to play it here. They all chase the same dream, to stand beneath these lights. And belong.